You tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the Sportscast. Tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need.
Hey guys, welcome in. It's the Outspoken Network here. We got all your hosts on. We got Brian, Craig, and Jeff. How's it going, guys?
Going pretty good.
How'd
It's
it
been a
start?
while.
It has been busy as heck for me and Craig, at least. I know that from work, but we'll talk about that in the What's in Our Locker segment coming up. It is almost football season, guys. We got preseason football going on. Today we got episode 211 here. We're going to go through the divisions and give you our division winners and why and we think they're going to win that division. I was breaking this down earlier and looking through them, and I found some of this a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. And not that it's too difficult, but it was difficult in the fact that the NFL always changes. Every year there's new teams in the playoffs and a lot of things change. And when I was going through this, I'm like, I don't have a lot of changes. So it doesn't make me feel too comfortable like I'm going to get a lot of these right. But I don't know how you guys felt about it. But that's how when I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh, I have a lot of same teams in the playoffs going into this next season.
I mean, yeah, it seems that way. Most of these teams either got better or if they didn't really get rid of much of anyone, then they stayed the same. And if they were, high up in the playoffs and, it's hard to imagine them changing too much.
A lot of question marks and rookie quarterbacks, and you don't know what you're going to get with a lot of these teams. Greg, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. There's a couple teams that got a lot better and a couple teams that I think got worse. I think the AFC is way stronger. I think the AFC is harder to pick than the NFC because there's so many teams that are a lot better. The NFC is pretty cut and dry.
I had a hard time filling out the NFC's playoff bracket. What 7 teams are going to be in it?
Yeah, see, I don't. I mean, I think it's pretty cut and dry. I mean, I really do. I mean, it's pretty clear.
All right, let's break it down here. Let's go to the AFC. We're going to start with the AFC first. We'll start with the South. The Jaguars won it last year. They were 9-8. I have Jacksonville winning it again. You got a lot of question marks here. The Texans with a brand new quarterback, kind of new head coach. You have Tennessee who's fell off a cliff last year from the playoff team they've been, and then you have the Colts who totally reached on the quarterback, and so far in preseason hasn't looked too impressive, but they're going to start with him. So I think Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence coming off of last year, having his best season of yet, the way they finish strong, if they could be consistent, I think this division is theirs to win.
Ooh, yeah, I would think so. Houston seems like an interesting team, I think, because I think that it seems like they did win in terms of the draft. So they got some good players. But in terms of who's ready now, I think Jacksonville. I have to agree there. I just think that they're poised to kind of break out this year. and even more so. So it's interesting to see what the evolution of Trevor Lawrence. I think that's kind of the idea. So,
and then they're getting Calvin Ridley back. They
Mhm.
drafted, they traded for him. They're getting him back to this offense and another year under their head coach.
I mean, do you think there's something? Do you think that we'll see something new from Trevor Lawrence in terms of his game this year?
I don't know about new. I think it'll be more consistent. Last year, he wasn't so consistent in the first half, and they finished strong and won so many in a row to make it to the playoffs. They came back from and won a playoff game. So I just think you'll see some more consistency from him to start off the season with. Craig is not a very big Trevor Lawrence fan, but who do you got winning in this division, Craig?
I'm not a very big Trevor Lawrence fan, but unless he takes a huge step backwards and reverts back to how he was before Peterson got there, where that was not very good, back to his Urban Meyer days, then I think by default they win the division, because I just don't have any faith or in these rookies in their first season making a huge impact in the league. There's not too many other than Mac Jones that came in and takes the league by storm and leads your team to a playoff berth in the first year. It just doesn't happen. So,
Brock Purdy.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, and that wasn't Brock Purdy the whole season. It was
right. That's true.
A combination of Garoppolo and Lance, and then Purdy takes over and wins the last 5 or 6 games. But it wasn't Purdy all season. I have to wonder what he learned from Garoppolo and Lance. Did that help, or is just Shanahan a QB whisperer? So, yeah, I think unless there's just a major step back, I think Jacksonville wins the division.
I really like what Patrick says here. Patrick says Houston was competitive in all their games last year, and they were interesting. They did fight a lot and they played hard, but they just weren't able to win. And I really like what they did over the offseason. I think I really like their head coach they got from the 49ers. They pick up a quarterback. We're going to see what C.J. Stroud's going to do. And then they go back, they come and get the third pick and get a great edge rusher on defense. So they had a really good draft, like Jeff talked about.
I think have no confidence in C.J. Stroud, the whole Ohio State.
Well, I think the Houston Texans finally have a glimpse of hope of, hey, we're headed in that right direction. We're making some good moves.
Should be.
Because Bill O'Brien totally screwed the whole team up. And he set it on fire and walked out the door, basically.
Well, that's why you don't give an NFL coach like the college, where you give them the all of it. You can't be the GM, you can't be the head coach. You just can't be all of it. You got to have that separated so that doesn't happen.
Patrick says I would take Trevor Lawrence over Dak. That's a good. That is a good take, and that is an arguable. Like, you could argue that you would take Trevor Lawrence over Dak Prescott.
You could argue that if you had a 12-pack of blonde beer, in the pool.
No, you could argue
that.
You could argue that. We'll get into the whole Dak Prescott later when we talk about the NFC East. All right, NFC North. Craig, go ahead and lead us there. NFC North. What do you
guys are going to start my anxiety 5 minutes into the podcast?
Who do you got? I don't know if Patrick's trolling or not.
Yeah, I could give you a real good idea.
But thanks for joining, Patrick. Stay tuned. The whole show is going to get interesting. In AFC North here, Craig, who do we got?
I don't know. This was the toughest one for me.
This is a tough one.
I still think Cincinnati is the team to beat as long as Burrow's healthy.
This is an easy one.
Yeah.
It's Cincinnati.
Yeah.
As long as Burrow's healthy, he is the second best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't really
he's
think
actually the MVP leader right now in the books.
This could be, I could see a path for the Ravens just because their defense, and you got Odell and you're running quarterback, but they're going to fold in the playoffs like usual. The Steelers, we don't know what they are, and the Browns are one of the biggest question marks in the NFL with their quarterback. So I think with the Bengals, I think this is an easy, clear favorite here. Jeff, who do you have?
I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I think not because I don't believe in Burrow. Man, he gets hurt.
Hey, he's already hurt this year. I mean, he's going to
I'm
first couple games.
That kind of is interesting, but
I don't think he misses any time for the season.
No, but I mean through the season. That's kind of my question.
He hasn't missed any yet in his career, other than once they cut him out.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll go with them with the Ravens. I kind of like. I don't know. Pittsburgh seems interesting and intriguing to me, but it seems surprising. They seems like it could be a surprise, maybe, but I don't know. But I think the Ravens. I'd like to see Burrow. He's great, but the injury, things that kind of could creep up. I don't know. We'll see.
The one thing that does scare me is when you point out what happens normally when you have a calf injury. What's the next injury?
Right.
Ask Kevin Durant. You tear your Achilles tendon because you're favoring the calf. You tear your Achilles tendon. So I hope to goodness they don't rush him back and then he tears an Achilles, because that would be the end of Cincinnati, if he's not healthy.
Patrick says, don't put money on a running quarterback who didn't even show up in the playoffs. He will be injured before Burrow. Yeah, he was injured a lot last year. I'm not a big – I think me and Craig, and I don't know how you feel.
I'm not a Lamar fan.
We are not Lamar Jackson fans. Don't think he'll ever win the Super Bowl. Don't think he's the guy. I think they caved in on paying him. We thought the Ravens were going to be that team to say, hey, we're not going to overpay a quarterback, but they did that thing. So we'll see. Is he an electrifying player? There's no doubt he is. But is he one that's going to win you the ultimate goal? I don't think so. And that's where you've got to make a decision as a franchise. So they think they can win with him. I don't think they can.
My question was, didn't Burrow get injured in the playoffs at one point? Not this last year, but the year before?
No.
Or did we find that out at the end of the season?
He led him to the Super Bowl.
Was it in the Super Bowl?
Was it his rookie year?
Was it something like that? I thought he had been injured a few times. So that's why it's kind of
I know. I think they sat him out the final game as a precautionary deal, but because they had already made the playoffs or whatever, I think there was a minor injury. But I mean, he played all the playoff games.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Here's the tough one for me. The toughest of them all in the NFC. The NFC East. This one has a lot of question marks.
All around, okay.
Question marks for every team. Except the Patriots. I think the Patriots are going to be last place.
AFC East, okay.
Yeah, AFC East. That's what I said.
No, you said the NFC East. That's why I was like, "Well, why are we going on there?"
AFC earlier, you did say NFC North, so I was just
AFC. Damn it, AFC East.
Getting ahead of yourself with the Packers there, Brian.
The AFC East. Okay. There's so many question marks. You got Tua's healthy. If he's healthy, they're going to be good. What are the Bills? We know they're going to be good. How good are they going to be? Patriots, I think this is Bill Belichick's last season as a head coach of the New England Patriots. Write that on your hot take board. And the Jets are the biggest question mark of the offseason. Is Aaron Rodgers going to I'm sorry, the New York Packers. Are the New York Packers going to be good? They had a good defense. There's a lot of question marks on offense. They bring Rodgers in and half the Packers team right there with him. You don't know. I could see them winning this division, or I could see them missing the playoffs all together. I picked the Miami Dolphins to win this division. I think when Tua was healthy last year, we saw a different team. This head coach seems to know what he's doing. He has Tua playing to the best of his ability when he's healthy and not getting concussions. I think the Bills drop off a little bit this year. I think they're not that 13-3, 13-4 juggernaut they were last season. And I still have the Bills making a wild card, but I think the Dolphins with a healthy Tua and this head coach and the team that they have win this division. Who y'all got there in the AFC East?
I think I'm gonna go with. Dang it!
I mean, the Bills were an easy one. I wanted to go with Jets.
You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go with the Jets. Because Tua kind of worries me. Rightfully so.
Big worry there.
I think every time he gets hit, every Dolphins fan's just gonna cringe. So that the Bills, I don't know, man. Just seems like something. I don't know. I don't know if it's just Josh Allen. I think it needs to tone it down a little bit in the season. Just not be as aggressive, like trying to run and try to make every single play a pot. It's just he throws great. He throws
no
great.
Running back.
He throws great, but he does try to risk it sometimes, and I'm like, come on. But in terms of, I think the Jets, they're way more in terms of on paper, way more improved than they were last year. We'll see. But I don't know. I think the Jets are gonna surprise people this year, and maybe because I know that Aaron Rodgers, maybe he's gonna again every time he has to prove himself. I mean, it's kind of happened with Green Bay. He ended up winning MVP. I don't know.
And
something's weird about the Jets team. I think that they're gonna be in the mix and they're gonna make a statement.
The Jets are it depends on what Aaron Rodgers they get. I think talent wise, he still has a couple years left. And I've been saying this. He'll be motivated to play. He wasn't motivated to play for Green Bay last year. He wasn't motivated to go the extra step and think that he was at that level where he needed to train these new wide receivers, and he just wasn't here mentally, I don't think. And going to a new team with his motivation, we've seen it before, right? Aaron Rodgers, we saw in Green Bay, his numbers dropped off a little bit. They drafted quarterback, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to freaking." And it sucks. It took him that to motivate him to kind of say, "Hey, screw you guys, I'm still good." And win back-to-back MVPs. I think they'll have a good season. I think their defense is going to be good. It was last year. You got Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
They had
good defense.
Offensive Rookie of the Year and wide receiver there. So they've got some weapons, and then he took half the Green Bay Packer team with him. And so I wanted to pick them. I still think they make a wild card. I got 3 teams in this division going to the playoffs next year. But who do you got, Jeff or Craig?
I just too big of a Tua fan to not go that way. I think that team is really talented. I like the head coach. I think Buffalo takes a step back because I was very disappointed that they didn't go get a running back when it was out.
They didn't change, yeah. They've not changed.
They didn't really do anything. They kind of held fast. They got wide receiver issues in that room. The quarterback and the wide receiver aren't on the same page. I don't know how long before Diggs kind of mails it in and quits on the team.
Yeah. He's a firecracker.
And I just I think the Jets, everything you hear from camp is that they're going to be great, and they're gonna really have a great season. That schedule's tough. They do have a very good defense. They do have Deal. I don't have a lot of faith in the head coach and Saleh. He just doesn't have the skin. He just doesn't have the skins on the wall.
If they lose this year, probably he'll be out next season. I'm guessing.
It would be my guess that
Rodgers gets his guy to come in.
Yeah, Rodgers gets to say, "Hey, I want, I'm running out of years, and I want somebody that I trust." but I don't know who the hell that is. You know, he didn't like the guy in Green Bay. He didn't like
He didn't
McCarthy.
like anybody.
Yeah, so I don't know who that. You know, it's not like
And it can't
it's
be
not
Nathaniel
like,
Hackett. We saw
Yeah.
that train wreck there in Denver last year.
yeah.
What a train wreck that was.
So
it's probably
so
going to be, yeah. Go ahead.
I go with Miami just on it. It's going to be tight down there. I think this is going to be a week 17 deciding, you know, in the last month where they all play each other. You're going to see teams jockey at the end, you know. A lot.
Patrick's going with his Josh Allen and the Bills there. He says Rodgers chokes 2 of his 5 concussions in the Patriots. So, but he said
Rodgers
I don't have any
Playoffs.
faith in New England.
Roger chokes in the playoffs.
he chokes in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He has a lot of
Yeah,
regular
he
season
That's
success.
great.
Oh,
We're talking about seasons.
Yeah,
seasons.
Playoffs? Talking about playoffs?
Now, playoffs, different story.
He said he would take Josh Allen over Dak. I think most league would. So, and this is the easiest one for me. The West, you got to go with the Chiefs. That plain and simple, they're the best team in football. Now, Jeff, I know you're a Broncos fan, and I don't think they're gonna take that
I'm
division.
about to surprise everybody right now.
About to surprise everybody.
Mhm.
Well, it can't be any worse than last season. It just can't. I mean, it just can't. For the Denver Broncos, but
I'm going for the Raiders.
the Raiders.
Getting-
What did he say?
Oh my gosh! Wow, hot take, Jeff over here.
No, I'm going with the Chiefs. I said it last year. I'll say it again. And last year everybody was picking the Chargers. I remember. And I was like,
the
nah,
Chargers to almost go to the Super Bowl.
no, it's gonna be the Chiefs, guys. To me, the Chiefs, unless Patrick Mahomes gets hurt. I don't know, but
Correct. I know you're picking the Chiefs. We went on we earlier a couple weeks ago. We went on with the Patrick Mahomes apology tour together. So
Yeah, and unless there's just a cataclysmic injury, I don't like that the edge rusher over there is holding out for millions of dollars when he already makes 20. But I don't. I mean, it is what it is.
trying to reset that market.
If you have Patrick Mahomes, you win the division. So until
any of the division players, the division teams start figuring him out, which is, it seems like the more and more, at least in terms of the Broncos, the more and more we play him, the closer and closer the games get. So as long as when that starts to happen, then you may have some arguments there, because it could be, the division starts to figure him out more than because play him multiple times. And division games are always typically close, but people until something changes there, I mean, you can't really argue.
The Chiefs are becoming the Patriots, and I say that in a way of I'm tired of them winning every daggum thing. So I hope they lose. I'm at the point where I'm like, Patrick Mahomes is great. I hope he loses from here on out. I don't want to see another 8-year run, 10-year run of Patrick Mahomes. I just don't want to see that. Like,
I do think that this year
no offense, Cat.
I do think this year that the Broncos split with them. I do think that. I just don't know. Because last year, I think each game we were close, and then I think the last game we almost won. I think it came down to field goal. But so I mean, it just seems even the games like the season before that, it came down to a 1-yard run, and Melvin Gordon fumbled the ball right at the 1-yard line. We lose.
Yeah, and they took it back of the house.
Right, exactly. So things like that, and that was again a missed block from lineman. Actually, lineman, and he just didn't block someone, and the guy ran right through it, just lit up Melvin Gordon. And of course, Melvin Gordon, as usual, fumbled the ball. So things like that, I think this year they split, but
the Raiders replaced their quarterback with the same. He's a clone of Derek Carr. I don't like the head coach, and the Chargers. That maybe the offense gets a little better with the Cowboys' old offensive coordinator. I forget, Kellen Moore. I think though that this head coach is coaching for his job this season with the Chargers, and then maybe you see if they don't do very good, maybe you see Kellen Moore get a head coaching job finally. But
maybe
the Chiefs is the easiest and the safest bet here. Last year they were 14-3, and the next best in that division was 10-7. I mean, it just don't get any better than that.
Yeah.
If anything, the division got harder. I think it's going to get harder now.
when I was looking at the last year's standings, and I was like, the Bills were 13-3. That doesn't add up to 17. It threw me off, and I remember the Hamlin game, and I was like, oh, that's right. That I was like, oh yeah, I forgot they didn't play 17. All right, let's go to the NFC, where mine and Craig's team are in. We're gonna start off with the South, though. This is the worst division in football. This is terrible football here. You got Bucks, Panthers, Saints, Falcons. Last year the Bucks won this at 8-9. That's how bad this division is. To me, this is an easy one for me. I think the Saints win this one. I think they have the best defense. I think they have the best quarterback in the division, and that's Derek Carr. They have, some playmakers there for Derek Carr. I think this is an easy one. There's so many question marks on all the other teams as far as Baker Mayfield taking over for Tom Brady. The Atlanta Falcons drafting a great running back over a quarterback in this league in this year's. Who's their quarterback? I couldn't even tell you. You got the Panthers, who made strides in getting the best quarterback in are supposed to be the best quarterback coming out this year. So I'm hoping to see him to have some success there, but they're not good football teams, and the Saints are the best ones, and they have the better defense. I'm going to go with the Saints here, but I mean, this is really a toss up in this division on any of these teams, but to me, it's the Saints.
I can't argue with that. I think it's just going to be one of those divisions where it's like these teams probably could have horrible records and still make it. One of them, and the Saints, I could see them because they have I think in terms of the most complete team, they're there out of any of these teams.
Oh yeah. I just, for the Falcons to draft a running back when you're rebuilding is by far the dumbest, one of the dumbest head scratching draft picks ever. I mean, just stupid. Greg, I saw you shaking your head a while ago, like agreement that's going to be the Saints.
Yeah, I just unless the Carolina quarterback makes a huge deal, but I mean when you trade the best wide receiver, his best weapon away to solidify getting him, he has nobody to throw the ball to. Even if Bijan Robinson is everything that he's supposed to be, you don't have anything else around the team. You don't have a really stout defense in Atlanta. You don't have a quarterback. You don't have anything. And the Saints have to me, they upgraded at quarterback from Winston to Carr. And yes, they lose Kamara for 4 games, but to me that almost helps, because that saves 4 games of wear and tear on Kamara's legs, and down the stretch he's going to be he's going to be a little bit livelier than everybody in the end of the season. He's going to have some energy left in the legs, and then of course if Thomas decides that he's not a prima donna and wants to play football, they've got a pretty solid football team over there. So I think they win that division, and I say that because I think. If you win 9 games, I think you win the division.
Yeah.
Last year we almost had a team that was under 500 win that division. I mean, I don't think you got to win 10 or 12 games like you do in the other divisions to win it.
Yeah, the Bucks were under 500. They were 8-9 last year.
Okay, so it was a team that was under.
Yeah, and they won that division with 8 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've never seen a running back get just win football games for people. I mean,
not by himself.
Falcons that when I saw that, I was like, are you kidding me? That's just terrible.
But I get it because he wasn't going to be around the next time around. Like, I get it.
It makes no sense where your team is at right now. Like, and he's a guy you pick when you're almost there. The Buffalo Bills could have picked him in round 1, and I've been like, "Oh heck yeah, that's a great pick."
Didn't the Saints get the big time running back that came out of Detroit? They didn't want to pay him.
They did.
or
Williams?
something. Yeah,
Williams, yeah.
yeah.
They did?
Wasn't that during the off season?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good player.
He's a great player. And the only reason he's still not in Green Bay is because we had two better ones.
Yeah.
And he's a great player. All right. Let's go to the NFC North. Vikings won this division last year. Green Bay was second to last. They were 8-9. Lions, Bears. And this is the Vikings division to lose. Vikings or Lions. I can see the Lions sneaking in there, but this is the Vikings division to lose. They have the better team on paper. I really like their head coach last year. Their defense has to get better. I talked about this before. They had the 30th worst ranked defense in the league, and they went 13-4 last year. But if you don't have a defense in the playoffs, you're not going to win. And they didn't. I mean, they lost to the Giants last season. So I think this is their team or this division to win. I have Packers exactly where they are. I think they're the third worst team in the football in the division. It depends it's all going to depend on Jordan Love, but the Bears are still going to be bad. I don't know if they're going to be 3-14 bad, but they're still going to be bad because Justin Fields is not a very good quarterback.
Where did he play again?
Fields, Ohio State, yeah.
Just throwing it out.
Not a good quarterback.
Just throwing it out.
The Bears fans can give me all the excuses. If we don't have anybody around him, we don't have this. He ranked 34th in passing quarterbacks last year, and there's only 32 starting teams. He ranked 34th. That's terrible. Terrible. I could see the Lions winning it though. Patrick says here that Lions and Goff are very underrated, and they definitely are. They definitely got a good team. Half of them are gone though because they kept betting on football games, so they lost about 4 or 5 players. But they're underrated, definitely. Who do y'all got winning this division?
I think the Packers strike again with Jordan Elton. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm gonna.
I hope so, but that's not. I mean, far fetched.
I'll go with the Vikings. I think it's a safe bet. They just seem to kind of always have something going on. Yeah, even though the only thing that kind of bugs me is a lot of one-win game or was it close games last year, close wins or something where it was kind of like, field goal and win, and those are always kind of weird. But especially when you have a bunch of them like that. But don't sleep on the. It's hard to not sleep on the Lions, but I'll go with Minnesota on this.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm picking Detroit, because they had 7 games that they lost by 1 score. And when I say 1 score, I'm talking fluke, 58-yard field goals that hit the crossbar, went straight in the air and went in. And,
I watched that field goal today.
And just, it just, and that head coach, these guys are ready to run through the doors. Amont St. Brown has been much better in the pros than I ever thought he would be. I thought he would be okay, but I never thought he would be what he is. Jared Goff's completion percentage when he throws he has a passer rate over 100 and has almost 70% of the time that he throws the ball in St. Brown's direction, it's a catch. Those two have absolutely built a rapport with each other, and he's going to have a monster season. And then if you can get the other kid involved, the kid from Alabama, the speedster, he's starting fights in practice because he just wants to play. They keep putting him on the pup list and keep slow playing him. He just wants to play football. And I think if you put him in the deal on the opposite side of Brown, Jared Goff's going to look like Jared Goff had a really good season last year.
Yeah.
And take a couple of those wins and flip them. Plus, they're going to have an easier schedule because they didn't win the division.
That is true.
I think, and of course, I think Green Bay and Chicago are both terrible. And I don't personally like how Minnesota loses Thielen and the running back
Cook.
Yeah, Cook. And what are you going to replace them with?
Yeah.
You know, now you can definitely when you double team Justin Jefferson now, even though he can get through it most of the time, you don't have Thielen as a backup plan. What do you have as a backup plan on the backside to throw to him? And Cousins isn't exactly the best, decision maker back there, when he gets any kind of pressure on him. So without Dalvin Cook and without Adam Thielen, I just don't. I like the Lions myself, even though they lost, 18 people to gambling.
Yeah, it's definitely their two. It's definitely their two divisions, or two teams for that division. I don't.
I mean,
think
unless Jordan Love just lights the world on fire, but I haven't heard that.
All right, Cat. All right, Cat. I see you coming in here, throwing some shots. All right, okay. That was a little hurtful there, Cat. I don't really appreciate that.
You probably heard
now,
say that you didn't want the Kansas City Chiefs
shut
to
up,
be good
Craig.
anymore.
Shut up. All right. Doesn't mean they're not going to be. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Says she has to. Well, for your hope, I want to put this on the record here. I hope Green Bay loses every single game.
Yeah,
we get the first pick, and we get Caleb Williams coming out of college, because they're calling him the next Patrick Mahomes. All right, so
already there's like a next Patrick Mahomes.
They're just saying he looks like he plays like. I think he's going to be really good. Now Patrick Mahomes, no, but he's going to be pretty good. So I want to tank. So every game we lose, the better for me. So I hope, Cat, that they suck this season. I think our defense is too good to be terrible. Like I said, we're going to be that 8-9 team, be mediocre and be middle of the pack and we're going to get a bad pick. A first round pick is going to be right there in the middle. And then, but the good news is we got that second pick that the Jets gave us will be a first round pick too, because Rodgers will play 60% of the games.
Yeah, but
so that
a first round pick when they make the playoffs and go deep in the playoffs.
Well, we'll still have 3 first round picks there, Craig. Okay. All right. 2 or 3.
28, 29, and 30 are not really going to do you a whole lot of good.
Shoot, if we got 28, that means we actually did really good this year. Yeah. So because one of those is ours.
I'm sorry, 17, 28, and 30.
Yeah, 16.
Yeah.
You package that, you move on up, buddy.
Rodgers is like, sit me out only just under 60% of the games.
They're gonna win. They're gonna win the first 13, and he'll just sit out the rest of the way.
Oh, you know what's funny?
Oh, Brian was be so mad. Really?
There was excuse me. There was rumors that he took that pay cut just to get Bakhtiari from Green Bay, and our GM said we ain't trading him. So suck it, Aaron Rodgers. Suck it.
Yeah.
All right.
Part of that was Dalvin Cook too, though. I could be wrong, but
what? Oh yeah, they got Dalvin Cook too. All right, NFC West. Easy one. Rams are going to fall off a cliff again. They wanted to trade Stafford. They couldn't get it done. The Cardinals are going to be the worst team in football. Seattle, second place team. This is the 49ers division to lose. Like they have one of the best defenses in the league. They can throw anybody back there at quarterback, and they seem to win with the talent that they have.
Except Josh Johnson. That didn't work.
Yeah, or Trey Lance. Yeah. They haven't given that poor kid a chance, though. But that's beside the point. Brock Purdy's going to be their starter. There already talks about him. He's thrown 10 interceptions in practice. I'm like, all right, let's relax. It's practice. Let's see what he does in the football game.
Oh, what? Hold on. What was that?
Practice.
I got a text message over here that said something.
I didn't say anything about Dak. Different. No, I did not say anything about Dak. That was the other kiddos.
Yeah.
That was not me saying anything about Dak throwing picks in practice. I just said he promised not to throw 10 picks this season when I don't think he's going to hold that promise up.
Well, I think the problem there is that Dak's throwing him in the season.
Well, hold on. Well, hold on. Let's not jump the gun. We're talking about the West here. We'll get into the beloved Cowboys here in a minute. Craig, who do you have winning the West this year? Because I think it's pretty simple.
Yeah, I know. I mean, unless they go through a similar quarterback progression that they went through last year and have to use 3 and 4 quarterbacks, I think the unless the kid in Seattle can just really double down and triple down and have even a better season than he had this year.
We're gonna have to go on another Seahawk.
I hope not.
Pete Carroll apology
Yeah,
tour.
I hope not. But 71-year-old Pete Carroll was running around throwing dimes around practice
Throwing dimes
the
across the body.
Yeah,
all right, Brett Favre, let's calm down here, buddy.
Yeah, I think he was trying to show his quarterback up. So, I just don't think that I've never been a fan of Seattle's quarterback. I mean, I think he had a good season last year, but
Geno Smith.
I just don't think Geno's. I think you got your money. Congratulations. But I just don't think anybody gives the 49ers any kind of kickback in this division.
Patrick said, "Did you see Stetson play? He's for real. I haven't seen him play in preseason.
He played.
He played pretty well. I mean, he's playing against guys that aren't going to make a roster.
Right.
So when you get in a real NFL game, then come talk to me. I think he sees Hines this year. I really do. I think they sit Stafford. After a few games, and I think they see what this kid has, and I think he'll be interesting to see what he can do against
There's got to be.
He lit the college football world on fire.
That's true.
There's got to be some animosity between Stafford and the Rams. They try. I mean, that's fact. They tried to trade him, and no one wanted him. So now they're stuck with him. He's definitely the Rams.
He opted in and made a big deal out about being on the roster, paid. About the paid, and wouldn't take a pay cut, and
they start having a horrible season, and they're definitely going to say, all right, we need to see what we've got in Stetson Bennett. And first of all, he's older, so he's not going to have that long of a career in the NFL. But we know that Stafford is done. Like it's not going to continue. But
I mean, the Rams got out of that what they wanted to get out of that. They got a Super Bowl out of the deal.
You went all in. You won a ring. You can't complain. That's it.
It is what it is.
You may not have a first-round pick till 2029, but
that's gosh.
You got a ring, and that's what you go all in for.
You saw your window closing, and you opened it back up for one season, and away you went.
I would take it. Shoot, I'd take it.
I didn't pick mine.
Oh, my bad. Well, I thought you'd agree with the 49ers. My bad, Jeff.
Yeah, I do. I just think that, you got Deebo Samuel, you got, great defense, Bosa, and honestly, man, Purdy surprised me last year. I had him in fantasy, and he won me a lot of points. Games, so, oh yeah,
yeah. What we saw from Brock Purdy was pretty awesome last year.
Be interesting to see what happens when people get some tape on him.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he starts out having just as good of a year,
that's what I'm saying.
It's incredible.
If teams don't make the adjustment now, I mean, Seattle's seen him a couple times. The Rams have seen him a couple times. If you get him the third or fourth time and he's still tearing you up, well, that's on you.
What I saw from last year is he wasn't afraid to make the big throw.
No, he's calm, very calm.
He threw the ball all over the place.
Feet. Yeah, he makes every throw. Oh. How he was Mr. Irrelevant is beyond me.
Yeah, and they had a graphic up, and it was showing, he's starting quarterback, but then these other two guys behind him are first round.
No, we now got Sam Darnold.
Not only first round picks, but I mean number one picks.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Number one picks.
That's what he meant. Yeah, number one.
Jeez.
All right, let's get into the NFC East, and we all know the history. No team has ever won back-to-back division titles in like 25,000 years, or whatever it is. It's like 18 seasons, some weird, odd craziness.
Jeez,
Craig, who do you got one? We'll start off with you since you're the Cowboy fan. Who do you got one in this division?
I mean, I'm not a fan. I don't think until Jalen Hurts puts 2 or 3 seasons together consecutively.
3.
I'm just saying, more than one.
Like if he comes out this year and balls, they're gonna be like, I need to see it one more time.
But he loses a running back. He loses his running back. They lose a bunch of people on defense.
Well, he's their best running back.
Okay.
Best running option.
Okay. That's a good way to get your guy hurt.
I'm just saying. He
You know?
is. Anyway, keep going.
Uh,
Sorry.
So I think I think it's just like the AFC East. I think it comes down to the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season. I think, I honestly, right now, I have them both at 12-5, and I think it's a tiebreaker scenario. If you can somehow beat, if one of them can win both games, or if inside the division record, or I think it goes to a third or fourth tiebreaker. But I think Dallas wins by sliver percentage points.
Jeff, you go ahead with this one. Who do you got?
This is kind of an interesting one because I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with dang it. Because I want to go with the Eagles because I do think that they were really good last year. Jeez. Surprised people. I think they surprised a lot of people in that division. I don't know. Dang. I agree with Craig. I think Dallas, but it's just by that much. Not by much.
Patrick says NFC East has been back and forth. Who wins the division the past 2 decades? Oh, that wasn't the one I wanted to put up there. My bad. It said until Dak puts 3 consecutive. I got the Eagles winning this one. I think that streak is broken. I think they're the better team on paper. It is a toss-up between these two teams.
It is.
But I have the Eagles edging them out by a game. I think they're 1 game better. The Eagles lost a quarterback or lost a running back, but the what that head coach has done with Hurts, and they went out and got players specifically to help Hurts, and they're running their wide receiver group is amazing. And I still have a lot of question marks on Dak Prescott. And this is a prove it year, Craig, for Dak Prescott. I think this is the year they say, can he show us something else? And we're going to find out, because a lot of times last year, that defense won them games and the offense struggled. Now Coach McCarthy's calling the play calls.
You know, when your wide receivers drop passes and stop running routes.
Calling play calls. And so I'm interested to see what he's going to do to this offense. He could come out and light the league on fire. Well, we're just gonna have to wait and see. It's gonna be very interesting, interesting season for both those teams. I think the Giants are a big fluke last year. They're gonna fall off a cliff.
Oh, I think so.
The Commanders are gonna be.
They're with the better, tougher schedule. I think they only win about 5 or 6 games this year.
I do think Dak Prescott has an off year this year. I think he continues to throw interceptions. He does have a better wide receiver core. You better hope Vaughn's not back there blocking for him, because I saw that in their practice. The Vaughn, he's like 5'5".
Yeah,
I mean, he's back there trying to block someone and ran over him like a little kid. I was like, damn.
Well,
but Vaughn, when he's running, he looked electric so far.
And Pollard's strength was never pass blocking. That's why Zeke hung around, was because Pollard's pass blocking is horrible.
So they have to.
That little guy, I don't think is gonna.
I saw him get lit up. I was like, oh, that's bad idea.
And that's the thing that I worried when I saw him. I'm like, man, he's small. Not only is he small, he's kind of linky, and I'm like,
it literally looks like a damn 5th grader running around out there on the.
He was taking ankles in the preseason game.
When you see him at practice, you're thinking like it's like some Make-A-Wish deal, like just go out there and let the kid run around with the pros for a little while, because he's so small.
I'm gonna have to mark this down right here. Patrick says the Eagles lost a lot of starters.
They did.
Our defense is the new doomsday. That's the part I'm marking down.
Wait, whose defense?
The Cowboys.
Cowboys
fan.
I don't know. But like, I
Red Rocket. Red Rocket wins the division.
Yeah, that running back, a lot of people were like getting all hyped up and excited. I'm like, he's one hard hit from probably being out. Like, I mean,
No,
it
yeah.
just,
I mean, I
I
don't
mean,
know how
all
much of
it-
a career he has.
he can juke all he wants, but if one guy just huge
Yeah, but
dude
what
just takes him out, like
We've said that about who's the quarterback that has been that way. Oh, the kid from Arizona. He finally got hurt.
Murray.
Yeah, Kyler
Mhm.
Murray's been the same way for years. He's 5'7". He has they think he's gonna die if he ever gets fully hit. Well, I mean, he never gotten fully hit. I mean, he blew an ACL trying to avoid a hit, but I mean,
I think he'll be all right. I think his strength's gonna be catching balls out of the backfield, and just juking. I mean, that guy breaking ankles, but when he gets in a real game with starters against, we're
Tough
gonna see. It's
defenses.
gonna be interesting. And Dak was missing him a couple times because no one's throwing to a receiver that small, so people are overthrowing him.
he definitely can't
And-
throw a jump ball. So.
So it's interesting. I'm interested to see what Mike McCarthy's going to do with his offense. I'm not a big Mike McCarthy fan. Wasn't a big Mike McCarthy for a couple years is good, but for a long time, not so much.
I think we'll know really quickly how this season's going to go for Dallas.
They got a good roster. They've got a good roster. They added who do they added the cornerback in there? Craig, what's his face? Veteran guy.
Gilmore, Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah, Stephon Gilmore to go along with Diggs.
Which is
So it's
defense.
interesting.
It's fine, but the offense is my question.
Yeah, and they added Cooks, who's a good wide receiver. They
Yeah.
say Gallup is supposed to be back. but
I
they
think
said that
Gallup
last
has
year.
a much better year. I think that's just a product of a second year off an ACL. That's how it is.
You know who?
But if the interceptions happen again, something's wrong.
If he throws
Something's
over,
wrong.
If he throws over 10, well, you've got to look at him. But
Why is 10 the number?
double digits. That's when you get
That's-
the double
why?
digits interception. That's
Why?
terrible. That's terrible.
Throw the ball 700 times a year.
Double digits is terrible. For
Really?
a quarterback
it's not for Josh Allen.
for a quarterback that's
If your
getting
name is Josh
paid-
Allen, it's not.
What?
Josh Allen's a hero. He's just trying to thread the needle. Josh Allen or Patrick
Yeah, but
Mahomes
Josh
or
Allen
Pat-
will also throw you
No.
45 touchdowns. Dak Prescott.
will Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott's not throwing you 45 touchdowns.
Dak Prescott had over 5,000 yards.
And Dak Prescott's about to get paid like a number one again. Like he already is getting paid high, and he's about to do a restructured deal, get paid $50 million a
Who's
year,
to-
like
who's
he's
to
Aaron
say that
Rodgers.
It's going to go up. Who's to say that it's not going to be?
What? It's going to go
Hang
down?
Yeah, I mean,
It's not going to go down.
The money towards the salary cap will go down. They put
Well, you're
the
talking about
Salary
this
cap.
is a
I'm talking
sign
about
for-
his.
You talking about Zeke money going to him? Zeke's part of Zeke's money going towards Dak? Is that what you're
No,
saying
I
when it
think they
goes up?
just restructure. I think
They're going to
restructure
restructure
it
his
to-
contract.
Right, but the money that they don't have to pay Zeke now would be going towards him, right? Are they still paying Zeke?
No, they
That's all done.
No, they cut him. They cut it. They waited to cut him
They
because
after
they took
June
limited.
1, they after June 1 cut him.
Right. So that was a lot of money off the books, right?
Yes,
Okay,
Yeah.
so that can go to Dak.
but that.
Well, they got to pay Parsons.
They got to play Parsons. And
Exactly.
They got to pay.
Exactly.
They got to pay your
Diggs.
wide receiver. They already paid Diggs. They got to pay your wide receiver.
Lamb.
Lamb.
Exactly.
The same. If Dak Prescott doesn't do something this year, then I mean, why are you even extending him?
I think
If you
that
got
also
all this talent in the world. There's no more excuses for Dak Prescott.
I think a
That's
lot
all I'm
of
saying.
the other
No more
thing is
excuses.
about those interceptions. Those interceptions were like terrible field position. Like as soon as they threw it, the other team was literally like not far from the goal, and at some point, it's obviously a pick six. That's happened before a few times as well,
Look,
especially at the end of a game. Like
and I-
you know,
Well, the Jaguars they threw that. Well, that was off the wide receiver's hands.
exactly.
Now,
but
look, I'm
but
not-
if that's a timing thing, come on, like you should have had that timing down with your wide receivers by then.
I'm not trying
Not
to
if they
beat Dak.
quit on the route.
I'm not trying to beat Dak down.
That's a coaching
because
thing.
I told you Dak Prescott's a top 10 quarterback.
It's not a quarterback thing. That's what
But
it's not.
this is no more excuses for him. We know what he is. He's got all the talent in the world. No more excuses. And I think that's the way that the Cowboys should be thinking too. I mean,
32 other teams make excuses for their quarterbacks. Dallas is the only one that can't.
Dallas is the Chicago Cubs of the NFL.
Chicago Cubs. When you get paid the way you do,
So do they.
and
Everybody gets paid that way.
and you're the Dallas Cowboys.
The guy, I guess
Josh.
Kyler Murray is the next coming of Dan Marino because he got paid the same money.
Kyler Murray is not good. The Cardinals are stupid.
But yet he's making the same money. So your argument is
and
null and void.
I'll sit here and tell you Kyler Murray sucks too.
Yes, but yet it has
don't
nothing
care.
to do with your talent level. You're going to get paid if you're a quarterback in the NFL.
You know what's funny about Dak? And look, I like Dak. What's funny about Dak, and this is true.
Could have fooled me.
Go listen to Sean and RJ on 105 to the Fan. And Sean pointed this out the other day, and he's pointed out before. When people ask coaches or other players about what do you like most about, or what is Dak? What's different about Dak than any other quarterback? Or they've never, no one, even McCarthy the other day, they don't come out and say, man, his arm talent, man, his physical strength, man, his ability to read a defense. It's always
his character.
Well, his leadership. His character is really good. I don't give a damn about his character. It's like his character needs to be there, but he also needs to be something special on the football field.
The thing is,
everybody, no one ever says, "Oh yeah, it's because he can read a great defense. It's because he can do this or that." It's always he's a great guy. That's all fine and dandy, but when on the football field,
13 games and sends one of what should have been a Hall of Fame quarterback to pasture. Yeah, he's terrible.
He hasn't. I didn't say he was terrible. I'm just saying he has to prove it.
I think
he
has to get
playoffs every year.
He hasn't gotten to an NFC Championship game.
Oh, that's the new
That's
deal.
the mark.
Yeah, so
that's
neither is half the NFC.
That's the mark.
NFC is weaker though.
Then if this is a perfect year for us.
So
NFC's got nobody in it.
Josh Allen hasn't won anything, but he's the second coming of Jesus.
Josh Allen's not in his 7th year in the league.
5th?
Josh Allen's not in his 7th year or 8th year in the league.
Okay. All right.
I think the thing is that when you're part of a coveted franchise like the Dallas Cowboys, I think that's the expectation, right?
It is. It's like when you play for the Yankees.
The Yankees, the Lakers, the Dodgers, you look at those franchises in a different way because there's all these expectations.
And you know why? You know why? Because your owner wants it that way. So you get more critiqued.
But
and that's
when you look at a 4th round pick, it's just like Brock Purdy.
I don't care. When your 4th round pick's paid like a number 1 pick, it doesn't matter after that point.
Expectations are through the roof.
After Tony Romo walked on, and then he got paid big bucks, it doesn't matter where he came from. It's matter what he's getting paid. It matters what he's getting paid. Doesn't matter where he came from. When you get that contract, that's when it matters.
No, because every quarterback in the NFL, if you are a quarterback 1 in the NFL, you get that money. It doesn't matter what your name is. Whether it's Kyler Murray, you're guaranteeing every 4 of these guys that got drafted. You know what they got? Their whole contract's fully guaranteed. He could go out tomorrow and die blow his knee in a 4-wheeler accident, and he's still going to get all that money. It doesn't matter. You're the quarterback of an NFL football team. You're going to make money. You're going to back up the Brinks truck. That's it. It doesn't matter what your name is. It doesn't matter how those guys haven't thrown a pass in the NFL and they're guaranteed $40 million.
They're not making $50 million a year
total.
They're not making 50 a year. 50 total is different than 50 a year there, Craig.
No, it doesn't. It's fully guaranteed. They never have to throw a pass in the NFL and they're set for life.
You're telling me the number 1 pick this year got a full guaranteed contract
all
of
four
$50 million a year.
Not a year, but total.
Well,
no, it doesn't.
It does.
The guy hasn't done anything. He's made $50 million and he hasn't done anything.
Once Tony,
Romo,
Dak Prescott, you got paid the big contract. It doesn't matter where you came from. The expectations go from here and they jump.
It resets
here.
the market. Yeah,
that's it. And you play for the Cowboys, you're going to get critiqued more. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, I think the thing is how many times do we have to see the fan, and even like former players have come out, have said like sometimes it feels like something's off with the team. I don't know what, but it's like some people are in, some people aren't in. I think it was Emmitt Smith said that like last year or a couple years ago, and then the fans, you're constantly getting disappointed. Like the fans look absolutely derailed after a loss, especially in the playoffs in weird ways, like the clock going down to 0, people not being, it's just always something weird like that. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know what, but we'll find out this year.
Jerry Jones sold his soul to the devil back in the day, and now they're suffering. Look,
it's bad.
I love it. I love the heated debates. I love it. It brings fire to the show. Craig, I know.
It's all good. It's all good.
Whether
I picked him to win the division, man.
Whether you like it or not, this is a prove year for Dak. He's got no more excuses. And I'll say the same thing next year. That's why I told you that next year with Josh Allen they're going to blow this team up. They're going to have to fire the coach or something. You're at a point where are you going to go after this?
That's true.
But once you start making the big bucks, your expectations go up. That's fact. That's fact.
Roger made the big bucks and they didn't do anything.
Yeah. Rodgers goes, hey, the rumor of me wanting $50 million a year is BS. And then he goes out and gets $50 million a year from us. I'm like, I can't. He pisses me off, that guy. Anyways. All right. Well, that was a great debate. I knew it was going to be a heated debate when we got to the Cowboys division.
Patrick's loving it.
I actually wanted to pick the Cowboys and then say, but the Eagles will knock them off in the playoffs. But I think that's where you're at. The Cowboys got to make it to the NFC Championship game. Like that is okay. Hey, we've done something. Just winning your division and just making it to the playoffs is not good enough.
Is that 2 years that they almost went, or is last year was the time they had to play the 49ers twice? Yeah. But was that right? If they won, they went to the NFC Championship. Okay.
Well,
I think that's
no, not NFC Championship. It was just.
I think the 49ers beat them in the first round the 2 years ago.
2 years ago, and then this last season though they won their first game and then they went on to play the 49ers.
They beat Tampa.
Yeah. Yeah, they beat Tampa Bay.
Hey, I think that's a safe goal, is say NFC Championship. I mean, you were 1 win away from that.
I think that's where you got to be. B. Baker says, Cowboys win the division but lose in playoffs. 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. I think you could be correct there, the 49ers. I think this is the easiest NFC we've seen. I mean, there's most of the good quarterbacks went over to the AFC. That's going to be freaking fun to watch. But this has been, I mean, who's the best quarterback in the NFC right now? Cousins? Dak?
Oh, no. It's not Cousins.
Hurts?
I don't think Cousins.
I think it's got to be. I mean,
Dak.
if you go by the rankings that we just made, it's Prescott.
Well, I had Hurts above Prescott for this season.
Well,
then I'd say you could.
But I don't know if he's
one of those two guys. Is it?
And that's
it's one of them.
Brock Purdy. I don't think Brock Purdy's not number one there. B. Baker.
Not until. He is if he continues the path. But
if he does what he did
after
if he does what he did last year for a whole year,
games, you can't anoint him in number one of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a major injury. I mean, that UCL injury is the same thing that Josh Allen had, and you could clearly see that it affected Josh Allen the rest of the season. His elbow was never the same.
I hope. I'm not a 49ers fan, honestly. They've stabbed me in the playoffs every year, being a Packers fan. But I hope Brock Purdy has a good year because
that would be exciting.
And the where he came from, being Mr. Irrelevant, to that was amazing to watch. So I'm not a 49ers fan, but Brock Purdy I think is something that everybody can kind of root for there. until you get to the playoffs.
I think everybody will be having him in some. I think there'll be a lot of fantasy people picking him. I did last
Yeah,
year.
I'm
Yeah.
Team Tank,
Right.
baby. Team Tank. Green Bay, 1-16 first round pick, number 1 pick in the draft.
Brian's
Let's
looking for
go.
a boring season for the Packers.
I'm looking for a boring. I'm gonna get one regardless, but I'm hoping that it ends up with something at the end. So, I want Caleb Williams, my next quarterback, because Jordan Love ain't it.
I think you're gonna fight with Arizona for that.
Yeah, we're gonna be battling Arizona. I know, like I said, we'll be 8-7 or whatever, 8-9, and get a mediocre pick. Oh, it's exciting to put that one up there. Well, that was an interesting show. I love the debate. I love it. We're gonna get over it. We're gonna get on some Cowboy debates this season. I can already feel it. But that's our show this evening. We went through the divisions. Next week we'll kind of go through our playoff bracket and break down, I guess, our Super Bowl predictions into the season. At some point, we needed to get into the Major League Baseball season, baby. We talked about it here and there, but we really need to get into that because it's getting down to the wire. We got some interesting races there.
I think
I'm
the
surprised
story
the
you need to get into is the one in Tampa. That's the one you need to get into.
Yeah.
He got suspended, didn't he?
He's on the restricted list, but
he'll never play baseball again.
It sure looks like he'll never play baseball again.
Yeah.
And
they
that
paid
money,
him all this
and
money.
that money's fully guaranteed.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They just paid him the beginning of this year?
Yeah.
Right.
My question
Now
is,
I don't know.
when is-
I'm sure there's a loophole in that scenario.
it could be with that. I mean, gosh, yeah. The way, yeah. My question is, why is the Yankees head coach still there? Like, they've had
That's a lot of Yankee.
terrible
I'll
season.
tell you this much: a lot of Yankee fans are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
They want him out. They want Brian Cashman.
It's
I
been
think
a
they both
terrible
go.
season.
I
for the Yankees.
honestly think they both go. My dad,
It's probably
it blew his mind, but I honestly
right.
think they both go.
With the talent,
The fans aren't putting up with it. They're booing him. They're booing the owner. They're calling him out on Twitter. They're making memes of both of them. They're calling the owner out. You're not gonna pull the wool over a Yankee fan eyes. They're relentless.
And
I mean, they even have a podcast that they bring Boone on. I can't remember the name of it, but they rip into him. They ask him the toughest questions. They even go in the statistics of why he's kind of dancing around things. And they don't hold back. And I'm like, they're not going to put up with it much longer. So no, the fans are definitely going to be calling people out.
It's
I
that
don't know. I don't know if
expectation.
Cashman, goes right away, but I think Boone for sure.
Yeah,
He'll finish the season.
I think so.
He'll finish the season, but that'll be it.
B. Baker, so what do you guys
Yeah.
think about allowing more fights of baseball, hockey style, save the league or no?
Oh, to speak of that, if anybody's ever seen the MLB app, app where you can do a 3D thing of the players, it's like you can watch the pitch by pitch thing or whatever, but they have a thing where you can go 3D, and it's literally like the 3D models, and they're like throwing the ball and the ball's coming out, and it looks awkward, but somebody had a video of that fight and it was all in 3D.
Nice.
And you just see like people moving around, and you see the guy get knocked out, and it was like,
that was the cleanest baseball punch I've seen thrown, because usually by the time they throw, it's
I don't know.
I don't know. Nolan Ryan landed 6 of them against Ventura's
I
face.
think Odor still leads that category.
It'd been nice if he
man.
knocked him out. Look, B. Baker, I think that would be awesome. I just it's not gonna happen.
Hockey players have pads.
I do think
it's a little
I
different.
do think the changes that they have made this season has made baseball more entertaining. The fan base has gone up. I've been more impressed because my team's actually doing good. So that'll do it too if your team's actually in it. So, but
it's shorter.
more collisions
And I
at
think
home
that's kinda
plate,
the
baby. Let's
idea.
go.
Ooh, I think that should have, like, in the playoffs, I think they should just go all out, like that kind of stuff. In the season, it's like whatever, but in the playoffs, I definitely think there should be collisions at the plate and all kinds of craziness going on.
Yeah, I like the changes they've made, but anywho, all right, guys. Well, it's that time we asked that question. What's in your locker? And we'll start off with Jeff because it's been a while, Jeff. So Go ahead, buddy. Take it away. What's in?
Let's see. Let me get that up there. Yeah, everything's been okay. Just been working a lot lately and trying to kind of get back in the swing of my wife's events are coming up for her book selling stuff. So she got I don't know if I said this before, she got a 2-year contract to for poetry book. So we're trying to get all that together. She's got to start promoting and stuff like that. So I'm helping her with that kind of thing. And just busy with work, helping other people with book cover stuff, people who are part of her group. And then the publisher that she works with wants me to help them make covers. So that's kind of cool. And then I watched 2 Untold episodes on Netflix, Johnny Manziel and the steroid one, which were pretty interesting. So other than that, I'm trying to go see Oppenheimer tomorrow, and then kind of gearing up for fall. It's coming up close, I think, next month. So it's kind of getting cooler here, and I'm just there's still some snow on the peaks here. So as much as it's been a little warm, we still have some snow on those peaks. And yeah, and then every day it rains pretty much. So, and then, just doing that. And then I'm kind of getting excited for the couple game stuff that's coming out. I think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out Friday, so I might get that tomorrow, have some extra cash, and I might go get a card and get that tomorrow. So being kind of excited for that. I think that's it. I'm excited for football. Baseball was bad year, so I was just kind of like, let's wipe it off and start next year. Actually, very excited for basketball. Kind of intrigued with the Mavericks. I like the kind of moves they made, so I want to see all that kind of play out. Kind of a full off season with Kyrie and Doncic, so I want to kind of see that too. So other than that, football, definitely excited. I watched a little bit of the first quarter. You could tell that they want to see Russ run a lot, so he did that quite a bit. Devontae Williams looked pretty good too. That was his first game back after his injury that they thought he was going to be out most of the season. So he ended up coming back early and looked pretty good. He got hit a couple times and looked good. So, but yeah, that's all in my locker. What's going on with you both? I don't know who's next. Great.
Just coming off of a class and gonna get back to work next week. Got one more week of being in the truck, and then I think it's finally over. It's been 118, in the shade here. We don't even know what the word rain is. So if it's supposed to be, we got electrical warnings because the power grid is failing because of how hot it is. Just going to take tomorrow off and reset and get ready for one more kind of busy week, and then be ready to be back in the office and get some of these guys that we just hired trained, and I think we're moving in the right direction. So ready for football season. I'll be interested to see how it goes. Giants are trying to make a playoff run here, but the schedule is pretty brutal in August and September. So and they just really are losing arms left and right. They only really have 2 starters, and so they're wearing the bullpen out pretty quickly. They lost a heartbreaker tonight, led for 8 innings, and then Atlanta hits a homer. I think Atlanta and the Dodgers are the front runners in the NL. The Dodgers have been 15-1 or 17-1 since the All-Star break or something like that. The Giants were within 2.5 at the All-Star break, and now it's like 11. So it's just ridiculous how they've ran and hid. Arizona's come back to the pack like we thought they would. I think the Padres probably blow up their deal, and some people get fired over there. But other than that, no, just gonna enjoy some baseball. Probably take my son driving. He got his permit installed, so probably take him driving and let him drive around for a while, and just enjoy the heat. Brian, how about you?
All right, guys. Well, we have a little bit of breaking news here across ESPN. Patriots and Packers game. They agreed to suspend the game and end it early as their New England's rookie cornerback Isaiah Bolden suffers an apparent head injury. So that's not good news for him. And we thoughts and prayers go out to him for a quick recovery there. I don't know what happened exactly, but that game is suspended. They won't finish it. But for me, it's been one of the craziest weeks at work I've ever had. And I needed this weekend to kind of relax. And both me and Craig worked together, if you guys don't know that. And we both were at work today when we were supposed to have off, so that just going in and getting the job done and doing what we need to do. I smoked some chicken today. I'm really getting into smoking meats. Smoked a brisket last week and turned out phenomenal. So could continue to do that on the weekends. Just smoke around, find some recipes, and smoke briskets and ribs and all that good stuff. Jeff, I could have flipped you off there in the camera when you said you had snow in the mountains and getting ready for fall, because it's 110 here. This is probably the worst summer we've had in Texas. Literally, it's 106 every day or higher. It's absolutely insane. We haven't seen the rain in I don't know how long, but it just is what it is. I mean, we deal with it and move on. My kids refuse to go outside, so I don't blame them. Tomorrow, we're absolutely doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm going to relax, rest, and get ready for this next week of being in the truck all week and being supervisor afterwards. And then it'll calm down a little bit there. And let me know if you see Oppenheimer. I really want to see that. It looks really good. My wife wanted to go see Barbie. I don't know if I'll see that. I don't care to see that at all. But I'm excited for this football season in general. It's my favorite sport. I'm not really too excited for Green Bay because we're going to suck. But I'm excited more for my Texas Rangers, baby. They've had a really good season. They've looked fantastic this year. They've made some trades at the deadline. Their owners are spending money, and that's things we usually don't do. And I think we're going to hopefully win the division. It's gonna be a battle between us and Houston. It's fun to watch right now. So I'm excited for some Texas Ranger baseball, and hopefully they go on a big playoff run. And then I'm ready for hockey to come back, because I've been getting into hockey a lot too, and that's a fun sport. So that should be coming up. And I'm not Jeff brought up basketball, but I don't know. I think the Mavericks aren't anywhere close to winning a championship. So
hockey's end of September, start of October.
Yeah.
Oh, when does basketball start? Around Christmas, right?
Oh no, Halloween
or right before
Halloween?
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit before that, but that's what we got going on in our locker this week. Look, the kids, the first week of school's done, so my kids have been super tired and going to bed early this week because they've had to get up and go to school. But that's what we got going on. Not too much other than working.
I got the Dodgers or the Braves winning the World Series.
I don't want to face either one. If we make it, I don't want to face either one. Okay,
those are dangerous teams.
I don't want to lose.
Atlanta's offense is just ridiculous.
I don't want to lose a third championship. All right, I need someone to I need us to get there and not face those two teams. I hope they
just beat Houston. Just beat Houston. I just want you to beat Houston, all right? That's
for entertainment purposes. I want to see Braves Dodgers in LCS, and that's going to be 7 games.
That's going to be a slugfest. That's going to be a slugfest going on there.
Altuve got his 2000th hit tonight.
Oh, were they banging trash cans for that one too, or?
No, he has the buzzer under.
Oh, it's a buzzer. Okay, he's a buzzer guy.
Yeah.
All right. Cheating Astros. I hate them sons of guns. Hate him. I'll never let that go. Never let that go.
No, I don't think anybody will.
All right, guys. Well, that was an interesting show.
Guys, go see the Menzel thing on Netflix.
I need to watch it.
It's amazing.
I almost watched the Barry Bonds one on steroid. It's so funny.
That's so good too.
Because I didn't even have to. When you said steroids, the first person who popped in my head was Barry Bonds. So it wasn't even like that one about.
It's about that Balco place.
Yeah. Sorry, Barry. You don't continue growing when you're 35. I don't think that. I mean, unless your belly is growing. I mean, I don't think you.
Sorry, Craig. I know you're a Giants fan, so.
How is that, Craig? How is that knowing that your best player in history of baseball took steroids to cheat? How is that?
Nope. Fire up another Dak Prescott because he never failed a test.
Oh gosh,
that's true. They were clean.
Get out of here.
That is true. He beat the system.
My gosh.
Show me that was during.
That's like saying Greg Hardy never beat his girlfriend. Like,
no, it's not.
Just because she didn't show up to court. Just because she didn't show up to court because he paid her off doesn't mean he didn't beat her.
I didn't say that, but it was under a time where Major League Baseball almost promoted it.
Oh yeah.
So
I think if
you want to give this to me to better your sport, and you want to promote,
and then you're going to
home
ban
run
me
hitting,
from the Hall
and now
of
you're
Fame.
going to tell me from the Hall of Fame because I took something, that deal. Now, if I'm Rafael Palmeiro and shake my finger at Congress and
what
tell
an
you I
idiot.
never
That
did
guy,
it, and then 2 weeks later fail a steroid test, then we talk.
That guy's an idiot.
But
Alex Rodriguez, idiot. 3 times.
Alex Rodriguez, an idiot. Yeah,
but Bonds never failed a test, and he did it during a time when they were basically providing it in the locker room for these guys.
I'll give you that because that's shady for them to go, hey, we need that brought baseball back to life.
Yes.
And then they're going to be like,
people were watching the game.
After the strike, baseball was non-existent. And then the home run race brought baseball back to the map, and it's been there ever since.
It made me a fan of baseball back in the day. Like
I
remember to watch.
And so if you're handing it out in the locker room, and I don't know whether Bonds knew what he was taking or not. I mean, he was training with this guy, and the guy gives him stuff. I don't know what he knows what he's taking. Clearly, when you need a new hat because your head grows, 7 sizes inside of about 3 weeks, you should probably ask questions. But
your shoe size goes up 3.
But Bonds was a Hall of Famer, stealing 30 bags and hitting 30 home runs before he ever became a Giant. He was known for having great seasons before he ever became a Giant.
It's still crazy that they didn't win a World Series until he was gone.
100%.
And it's crazy.
The closest they came was Anaheim and the Rally Monkey, where they saved Dusty Baker's kid from being run over at home.
I remember that. That was fantastic.
Fantastic. I remember that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I mean, the guy was him and Griffey kind of led the deal.
Oh, Griffey, man, my favorite player all the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love Ken, and if guys that think that Pudge and these guys, Pudge is in the Hall of Fame, and I love Pudge to death, but
Pudge didn't take no steroids.
Okay.
Oof.
I'll fight that one.
Out. I'll have to look that up.
I've never seen him linked, but I don't have the ball call list.
Of course he does. I mean, it's not linked, but I mean, the guy. I don't know. I just
I've never heard of his name linked. That's why.
No.
Palmeiro, yes.
You never heard
yes.
Cabrera's name linked. These guys. I mean, maybe they're just the best player on the planet.
Didn't Big Papi fail the drug test?
Yes.
And they love him so much though? Like he never got any of that criticism, which is crazy to me.
It was the year that they won in 2004.
Swept it under the rug.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We've had enough heated debates on this show. It's probably I love it though.
Hey,
let's keep
our viewer count went up whenever we were all screaming.
It was. So. Let's keep bringing it. And I'm not I hate the first fake crap. I'm not coming up with BS takes just to get viewers. But if we're gonna have a heated debate,
Stephen A.
Smith, I like to have a good debate. And that's fine. When football season comes, it's gonna be interesting. But I'm also interested in college football, baby. TCU, let's go.
Oh, you guys get to play CU.
Yeah, we get to stomp them and Deion Sanders right off the sideline. All right.
God, that's gonna be a crazy
It
game
is.
because there's already like Shaq's gonna be this, but there's all kinds
I
of crazy
wish
celebrities are gonna be
because
there.
we have a frog truck at work and we go tailgate every home game, and that's the first one opening up, and I'll be out of town. I was like, son of a gun. But anyways, all right, guys. Well, that's our show. Hope you like it. If you listen to us scream at each other, please subscribe, share us. We'll live stream. We're on a podcast on Buzzsprout. You can find that podcast all throughout anywhere you can find a podcast. We're there. If you want to come on and watch our beautiful faces on YouTube, definitely do so. You'll find us on Facebook as well, guys. We'll be here when football starts or gets close to starting. We'll go to 2 episodes a week. But we will do a show on Tuesdays and Saturdays at that point. And
because we'll have a lot of content.
Yeah.
It'll be basketball and football and hockey
and yeah, there's a lot of content to cover.
and college football.
And college football. There's so much content. We've already gone through the dead part of sports, and now we're getting into the juicy part. So it's fantastic for us and the show.
Yeah, buddy.
So, all right, guys. Well, that's going to be it. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you're in Texas, drink some water and stay hydrated. And screw you, ERCOT. I'm not setting my air conditioner to 80. Sorry.
Oof.
You're out of luck. God bless, and remember.
Keep it outspoken.
Keep it outspoken.